Hi, and welcome to part one, unit one of our guitar class here at Ross School. I'm going to start off by teaching you a little bit about the instrument before we get into doing some playing. So to start off, at Ross here we have acoustic guitars. All of ours are steel string, which means that the strings are made of steel instead of nylon or plastic, which is typical of what are called normally classical or nylon string guitars. In our class, I'm going to teach you how to play with the left hand on the neck using your right hand to strum. So that means that whether or not you are a left-handed or a right-handed student, when it comes to writing, we're all going to learn how to play guitar the same way. And the reason why is just like any other instrument, flute, clarinet, violin, there's a standard way of playing it, which makes it easier to teach and easier to play in an ensemble. 40 or 50 years ago, it was common to teach left-handed students to play the guitar the other way. But in order to do that, you also have to flip the strings around, which means that when you're reading chord diagrams, you have to flip everything around. You have to make everything upside down in a mirror image, which can be really confusing when you're getting started out. So it's accepted now that everyone plays guitar the same way because it really is required that you have dexterity with both hands and all 10 fingers. So it's not that we're trying to give you an extra challenge. It's just that the further along you get with the instrument, you really will need to be able to use both hands and all fingers. So we'll start all playing the same way, which will make it a lot easier to get into playing and make it easier for you to help yourself as you learn chords down the line. Okay, so let's take a look at the instrument first. Just like a person, the guitar has been named in a way that's easy to remember. So this is the guitar body. You'll notice that it's hollow inside, so that when you strum a string, the vibration of the string goes into the body of the guitar, and that's what makes the sound loud. Down at the bottom here, we also have what's called the bridge, which is where all the strings are attached to the body. There are 6 strings going from lowest to highest. This part here is called the pick guard, so that if you are using a pick, it'll prevent you from scratching the instrument. And the hole here is called the sound hole. As you move up the neck of the instrument, this part's called the neck. The top part of the neck is called the fingerboard, and that's where your fingers are actually placed on the strings. You'll notice that there are these divisions, and these are called frets. As you learn how to place your fingers to play notes or to play chords, these frets will help you to be sure that you're placing your finger in the right place. The higher you press on the fingerboard, the higher the sound gets. Up at the top here, we have the nut, which is where the strings pass over the top of the neck. And then we have the head of the guitar, which is where the tuning pegs are located, or some people call them tuning keys. And every time we play the guitar, we need to tune it because the temperatures in the room, whether it's a warm day, cold day, whether you're inside or outside, can cause the strings to expand or contract, which will make the tuning sound a little bit off. So we'll tune it every time we play, and we'll use these tuning keys in order to do that. Okay, in order to play the guitar, you need to make sure that you're sitting up straight. If you are standing, it's important to have a strap so that you can hold the guitar properly. Our Ross School guitars do not have straps, so they're generally played while you are seated. If you're slouched back, it can be easy for that guitar to slip right off your lap. So sitting up straight and allowing this indent here to sit right on your leg is the best way to go. You'll have your right arm coming over the body of the guitar so that you can either strum or pick. And then your left hand will be the one playing up here. It's important that your thumb stays behind the neck of the guitar so that you can really press into it as you play. If you let your thumb come over like this, I call it the lazy thumb, you really don't have very much range of motion with these fingers. You can't move around very well. So making sure that the thumb is behind the neck so that your wrist is dropped and you can really reach the strings easily, getting a curve in that hand will be the best way to play the guitar once you get started. Okay. The last thing I'm going to teach you here is the order of the strings. We call the strings by either their letter name, their note name, or by number, and it's important that you know both as a guitar player. When you're calling the strings by their name, it's the name of the note that is played when you play that string open. And the mnemonic I like to use to help you remember those strings is elephants and donkeys grow big ears. If you use the first letter of every word, it helps you to remember the names. So starting on that biggest, thickest string that has the lowest sound, I remember that because elephants are big, and this is your biggest string. This is your E, elephants, A, D, G, B, E. Elephants and donkeys grow big ears. The other way that strings are named is by number. And when you're naming strings by number, you go the opposite way. You start on your smallest string, or the highest sounding. Okay. So this is your first string. This is your second string, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. The way I remember that is because 1 is the smallest number, 1 is the smallest string. Okay? So naming by number, you start on the smallest string. Using the mnemonic, elephants and donkeys grow big ears, you start on the largest string.